Okay, I'm attempting to video this for you ladies, and I am not a videographer at all, as you're going to be able to tell from this video. I sewed the fabric together the way the instructor at the class, Linda McBay, who taught us at 3 Hens and a Chick in Athens, Alabama. It wasn't taught in the pattern to sew these 4 together, but she taught us that so that we would have 4 of these rags on top, which would match the other rags on the quilt. So you sew them together, right sides out, not right sides in. Ask me how I know. And what I did was I took and I pressed my half square triangles. I called it pressing it to the dark because these 2 will be different colors, and these will be the same colors as these 2 colors to make your tree so that it will stand out. But I pressed it because I felt like that helped it go better on the die. And when I cut these, I cut them on the straight grain of fabric, but right now I don't have any idea which one is straight grain. I marked mine when I did my quilt. I marked them with a pen so I would know which direction they were going. But these, I have no idea, so you'll have to mark them yourself when you're cutting them so they'll be on the straight grain. Because as you ladies know, and I told you I'm not a quilter, as you ladies know, it stitches better when it's in the right direction of grain, and AccuQuilt says it cuts better when it's on the right. So just assume that this is straight grain of fabric going this way. All right, you just place it on your die, and I'm using the Studio. This is the one that I have. And I put it in. This is after I have sewn it together, so I'll put the die in. And yes, mine sounds old, and it is old, and it sits in a cooler place from time to time. Okay, and I'm backing up, which you don't have to back up. I backed up just so that I would be in the camera view. And they say do this, but I got wise and brought me a fabric sheet out here, not just for this and picking up stuff, but it also helps clean your iron. So I did this, and you slide it across like that, as y'all already know, and then you pull this out. If you're like me, you toss it in your floor and clean it up later, but I'm going to put it right there since I only have the one to cut, because I cleaned the other day, and cleaning is not something I like to do. But as you can see, you got your half square triangle cut perfectly. But then you want to rag this without having to use your scissors and snip, 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 because there are quite a few triangles to snip. So what I did was I took and finger pressed it and brought them across evenly. And watch your fingers very carefully because these are sharp. Bring it across, and what I did was matched up my stitch seams, and then I pressed this with my finger, and what I did was straddle this very first blade, because that will give you one decent cut, which should equal almost all of this right here. And you come over this way, and these are not going to matter that much. They do matter that you don't cut your seams. Excuse me. It does matter that you don't cut your seams, and that you get them in as even as you can, because if you don't, you're going to have a crooked quilt once you stitch it together. But it's really not that bad. Once you get started, you'll get your rhythm down and get your method down. And I know I'm supposed to rotate and all that stuff, but I have no idea on this one which way I put that. So you put this back down, and you can do 2 of these at once. You just flip the other one in this direction, and you can do 2 at once, and it's not as time consuming. Like I said, once you get started, you get your rhythm down, and you can go to town. And for those of you who don't know what go to town means, here in the South, it's you can go fast. You can put your pedal to the metal. But you see, you've got your rags cut there too. I mean, simple. These little ones right here, when you stitch these together, these are going to be in your seam line, so they're not going to be that important on either side. And I found that whenever I was stitching mine together, and let's pretend this is white and this is green. This is going to be in towards your quilt, and the green is the white's going to be sitting on the upper green until you get wound down, and green is all you've got. When you stitch, I found that if you stitch, set your needle down in this very first one here, and go across, and you come out in this first one that's over here, and if you got your tweezers when you come in this way, grab it with your tweezers and just tuck it under and hold it. That makes it so very easy to do. And this is the back side of your quilt. Now you can do your rags from what the pattern says. You can have your rags on the back also, but we chose not to have rags on the back of our quilting in class. Well, at least I did. But in class I had sewn all of my half square triangles together as one unit, not this way. As I said, Linda McBay is the one that taught us in class how to stitch these together so that we would have the 4 rags on top. But I had stitched all mine together, and I thought, well, I want to do her method, so I came home and did the picking and grinning with Buck Owens and Grandpa Jones on Hee-Haw. I picked out those 44, put them back together as 4 units into one, stitched those, but I stitched them wrong. I put them right sides together, which is not the way to do it, lady. It's wrong sides together on both sets of these. So I sat and picked out 22 again, because sometimes we get determined, but I picked them out and re-sewed them like this, which I think this is a much better method than just sewing the back triangles together and then stitching the front triangles together. And then you take and open up, and I sat down at my ironing board. I lowered my ironing board down because I went ahead and did a little more pressing over there, and I put my triangles in. I got my little rhythm down, as I said, and I put the batting in, and I used in the beginning I used polyester fiber fill batting. That was a mistake. I could not get my seams to stitch correctly. They kept moving, even with my walking foot, they kept moving. So I've done my quilt at home in my workshop, and I found that I had to change to the natural cotton batting, and it worked great, but I still had to sew it. Even my walking foot on my Quattro didn't work. I switched over to using my Luminaire and the Move It foot, but in the settings there are numbers where you can change things that keeps the top from walking so much. So I would suggest that if you have a machine that has that setting, go in and practice on a scrap piece to get those settings just right, because it is a very painful thing to have those top layers to walk or the bottom layers to walk. So you can get your settings correct, you'll be happy. And as far as cleaning the dye, I did do just a little cleaning the other day, but I haven't done much. And yeah, it could become a very big pain, but I don't know. I didn't find it that big of a deal. And whenever I get time and sit down and clean it out, or let my husband blow it out like some of you ladies have suggested, I don't think it'll be that bad. When I started this rag quilting, I was thinking, oh man, I don't think I ever want to do one of these again. But now I'm thinking, I need to go to the fabric shop. So I hope this helps you ladies. Y'all have a blessed day.